What is up, creatives? Welcome back, you guys. I have been running to get some stuff set up for you guys tonight. It's gonna be we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to talk about. If you clicked on this video, this live stream, you know we're gonna be getting into some music theory tonight. Don't worry, I'm gonna make it, plenty easy to understand, but it's gonna be good. I would take notes. But before we dive into all of that, definitely hit me up in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Definitely excited to see you guys here. And then we'll jump right into it. I won't keep you much longer. I know we got started a little late tonight, but we will get going. Benjamin Demers, welcome back, my friend. I saw your DM. I'm gonna hit you back. Is the MPC one worth buying with the fact that I have Beatmaker 3? That is a great question. Yeah, for a couple reasons. Okay, hold on. Let me pump the brakes. Possibly. When it comes to the MPC one, I'm assuming you're talking about just straight up going hardware and doing it through the software built into the hardware, the MPC. If that's the case, definitely, check it out for sure. I don't have experience with MPCs, which is strange because I use Beatmaker 3 so much. But if you're talking about using it as a controller for Beatmaker 3 or something like that, if you're looking at getting an MPC, that could be a solid fix for working at home, and then just keep your iPad as your portable machine. It's all right to work in more than one platform. I think the most important thing is that the fiddling between the interfaces doesn't keep you from actually having creative output. But yeah, man, I don't have any experience with the MPC one. I'd hit up Bolo the producer. He's the dude that he knows a lot about the MPCs. Hopefully that helps. All right. I want to see some more folks trickle in here. Let me know if the stream is solid, the audio, the video, everything, because I want to make sure everything's running right. We got a lot to cover real quick. By the way, if you're watching this, definitely give this video a like. and don't forget to subscribe. But you know, giving this video a like, it does a lot more than you think. Lets YouTube know that you enjoy this kind of content, and it helps the channel out by putting this in front of you and as well as more people. But it also helps, you know, fine tune your suggested feed so you get content that you like to see. So hit that like button for sure. Benjamin, leaning more toward MacBook Air 1 terabyte with Logic Pro. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's a good call too. I mean, I'm loving my MacBook Pro. My MacBook Air. I have the Logic Pro. I haven't bought Logic Pro yet, but I have the Logic trial, and so far so good. I don't know a whole lot of. I mean, I'm new to that space. FL Studio is my desktop DAW that I know well, but I do want to learn Logic at some point. I just got to do it when I have the time to dedicate to learning something new. All right, let's dive into the content. I don't want to hold you guys any longer. The latecomers, you can rewind the video. You want to catch the whole thing. All right. All right, so many of you know me as the iPad beatmaker guy, but what you don't know is before that, long before that, I've been a student of music. And, you know, I got my degree in music education with a teaching credential, so, you know, I know a little bit about music theory. Today we're going to give you the crash course that I wish I had as a younger person, you know, just getting into music production. When you hit college and you start as a music major, they hit you with a class called Intro to Music Theory. Unless you're super good and you can bypass that and go into Theory 1. I was not one of those people. I took Intro to Theory, okay? So, but it was really, really valuable. I mean, I had been playing a classical instrument for 3 years and I could read music. But my chops, they needed some work, my mental chops as far as theory goes. So, took the Intro to Theory, and this is not going to be exactly that, because that would take a whole semester. But I'm going to give you the condensed version, the basics, the baby steps to having good music theory in order to make good things multiple times, many times over. You know, a lot of times as producers, when we don't know any music theory, we kind of stumble into great things. Like, you can make great music and not know theory, but you know, one, you're going to be limited as far as genre goes, probably, until you really wrap your mind around it. And two, you're going to find yourself not knowing how to recreate greatness. So that is what we're going to dive into. So I've got notes. Hopefully you guys got a pencil or something that you can write with. Let me pull up, hold up. My notes closed. How convenient. All right. Let me, hold up. Okay, there we go. Cool. Had to rearrange some things here. It's kind of a mad dash trying to get everything set up for this one tonight. All right, cool. All right, so, speaking of, before we dive right into it, I want to remind you, this is going to be a series. This is part 1, okay? We're going to go pretty in depth over the course of this series. I'm going to give you guys as many gems as I can, but today we're going to be focusing specifically on harmony, which I think is a great place to start when it comes to music production. And it's even how I start generally when I start a beat or, you know, a song. Harmony. We're going to start with, what is a key? A key as in, like, you know, keys in music. Let me pull up my notes so you guys can see them too. Boom. And then we'll do this just to make sure. Okay, here we go. Over the top. Right here. Let's do this. So, what is a key? Why is it important? Okay? A key is essentially a, you know, group of notes in which you can function in music. That's not a very clear definition, but it's based off of a scale. A key, you know, there's chords within a key, and there's a scale that the key is based on. So if you're in the key of C major, there's a C major scale for that. If you're in the key of A minor, there's an A minor scale for that. And the scale will determine your key. Now, why is that important? Why is a key important? Keys are important because they help you find melodies, chords, and they help you give you a framework and a structure to operate within. So if you don't know what key you're in, you're kind of doing a lot of guesswork when it comes to trying to make up your chords, trying to make up your melodies, and make your basses and things like that. So knowing a key is super important. Know your number theory. I have this one written down right here in all caps because it's important. It's super important to know number theory. So let me break it down. It's not as complicated as it sounds. So in a scale, for example, let me pull up some, bear with me. I gotta make sure, I should have had my instruments ready to go. I'm gonna play some audio for you guys to hear. Okay. We gotta connect. Here we go. Bluetooth MIDI, X key error. Sweet. All right, let me put this keyboard where you can see it. There we go. All right. All right, hopefully that does it. All right, cool. So, close, and we should have audio. Make sure, oh. Thank you guys for bearing with me. If you haven't already, definitely give this video a like. That helps out the channel more than you know. All right, here we go. Now we should have some audio. Oh, here we go, haven't enabled it. There we go, okay, sweet. Let me know if this is coming in clear. Hopefully it is. All right, so this is C right here. Starting with C in the C major scale, I'm sure many of you have done this. Gone up the white keys, you know, you got C, D, E, F, G, A, B. All right, and then it goes back up to C. Now, I was talking about number theory. So with each note in the scale, there is a corresponding chord. And you know what? Let me write this down. Take some more chicken scratch notes. All right, so in you're probably gonna want to write this down. In a major key, all right, you got your 1. That's a Roman numeral 1. That's C in our case. That's our 1. All right. After that, you have 2. Notice that's a lowercase 2. I'll explain why in a second. That's D, right? Okay. You've got 3. Okay, I'll explain what all that is in a second. And then you've got, so that's E right here. Then you've got 4, that's F. Roman numeral 4. Okay, then you've got 5. That's G. All right, and then you've got 6. That's A. And then you've got 7. Right? And then it goes back around to 1. Oh, well, that didn't show all the way, but there we go. So the reason that is because if you go straight up using the keys, all of the notes that are available to you in C, and you make a triad, which is a group of 3 notes, they're usually spaced pretty evenly, like in the key of C, that is. You have C, E, G. Oh, right. Thank you. My wife is in the chat. Thank you for reminding me the 3rd chord is not diminished. If you guys don't know, my wife is actually a music teacher too. I was a music teacher. She currently is a music teacher. Thanks for keeping me on my P's and Q's. Yes, it is minor, not diminished. Sorry. So, C, right? That is a major chord. You can kind of tell because a lot of people say it sounds happy, right? All right. This is a D minor chord. And I'm going to explain why, but this is a D minor chord. You can tell it kind of has more of a like sad quality, as some would say, to it. Next, E minor, that's the 3 minor, okay? Then you have F, major, right? Okay, then you have G, major. That's A, that is minor. Sorry to my pianists, I don't have good form. And then you have your 7, which is diminished, okay? Now, if that racked your brain right there, you're like, okay, you lost me already. Stick with me, okay, because it's really not that complicated. The chords that you're going to run into the most in, you know, common music, like pop music and things like that, when it comes to things that don't have, you know, not fancy chords, basic chords, we're looking at your 1, that's in this case C. A lot of times you're going to see 4. Yeah. A lot of times you're going to see 5. A lot of times you'll see 2. And then you'll see 6. So let's circle those. If you're someone that's generally stuck with chords, start with these. Okay, these are your playground. So let's go back to my notes. Oh, right. We were going to talk about why some of these are lowercase, why some of them are not. So Roman numerals, your 1 is uppercase right now because we are in the key of C major. C major right now. In a major key, a major chord is going to have a capital Roman numeral. Okay? Boom. And before I continue on, let me explain to you why this is so important. Okay? Musicians, gigging musicians, people that play in a band, a lot of times if you're with a band, they're going to say, all right, I want you to play 1 4 5 2 1, and you got to know what that is. In the key of C major, that's C major, F major, G major, D minor, and A minor. I was able to pull those out of my head because I know what these numbers are. Now, also, when you're making your music as a producer and you want to make music without doing the same key over and over again, instead of doing B minor or B flat minor again, maybe you want to try a different key. If you know your Roman numerals, this can be applied to any key. So if we're in the key of D major now, boom, you start with a D major chord. And it follows the same exact formula. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. We're not going to talk about that right now. And then it goes back to the major up here. Cool. Yeah. Benjamin says 2-5-1. Yes, jazz. There's a lot of 2-5-1s in jazz. We're going to get to some common cadences in just a second. All right, so let's recap really quick. I know we kind of blitzed through that. So first thing you need to know is, what is a key? Why is it important? We know that a key is a group of notes that we can function in as our framework. It's based on a scale. Within that, you have certain chords that you can use that sound good. Can you use chords that are outside of the key and it still sounds good? Yes, you can. But for right now, we're talking about what's part of the key. And then know your Roman numerals, right? Because you need to know your numbers so that you can easily know how to get your chords down in any key. If you can know your Roman numerals, you can get your chords down in any key. All right, let's check on the notes. Oh, you know what? I have my notes up here. Cool. All right. We're gonna kind of dip our toes into some slightly more advanced stuff in just a sec. But first, I want to talk about what chords lead to each other. So there's certain chords in this group of notes right here that like to lead to another chord. For example, the strongest one, the strongest cadence, and so cadence is the word we use, but the strongest transition is generally 5, in this case G, we're in the key of C major still, 5 back to 1. Okay, 5 to 1. We hear that so much. I mean, you might hear it with better voicings than that, like something like that. All my pianists are gonna yell at me. I have terrible chord forms, but I'm playing the right notes, okay? All right, so 5 to 1. Use that a lot. You can do that in major or minor. If I was in the key of C minor, here's C minor right here. So we got 5, which is G, back to 1 in C minor. You probably heard that a lot, right? And you can do the same thing with a different voicing. Right? Okay, so you can do something like, you know, a 4 to a 1, but it doesn't have the same potency. Here's a 4, here's a 1. This isn't telling me I need to go back to 1, right? I mean, it's a good chord, go back to 1. Now what 4 likes to lead to, in this case F, a lot of times you'll see 4 goes to 5, and then back to 1. The amount of times we've heard that in, you know, Western music, and even before Western music, to be honest, the amount of times we've heard 4, 5, 1 is a lot. Another one that's really strong, as Benjamin mentioned, was the 2, 5, 1. So 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1. Okay? So, quick recap. 5 to 1, very common. 4 to 5. Very common. 4, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1. Both of those very common. There's a couple cheat sheets you can use. That's your basic harmony. Use those. 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. That's a good one. 1, 6, 4, 5, 1. Here's something you can do. Experiment with the numbers. In the key of C major is a great place to start because all the notes are pretty much, you know, equidistant when it comes to the chords. So you've got play 1, skip 1. Or yeah, play 1, skip 1. Play 1, skip 1, play 1. Boom. Okay? You can do the same thing for the next chord. Play 1, skip 1, play 1, skip 1, play 1. Okay? Follow that all the way up. I'm sure many of you that have ever touched a keyboard, you've probably done that once or twice. Now, we're going to get into some a little bit more fancy territory. There are good number combos, just like video games or anything else. Like, there's things that go really well together. And I gave you some of those. Something that is really common and really, really nice is doing a deceptive cadence. I'm going to explain a little bit about what that is. If you guys don't remember any of the fancy terminology, just remember, you know, exactly what the concepts are. The fancy terminology really doesn't matter. Had to grab my sustain pedal real quick. That's gonna help out a lot. Okay. Hopefully, let's see, let's get that Ravenscroft back up. Make sure that, let's see, MIDI inputs. Gotta make sure, there we go. At least it's Recital Pro. Close. Boom. All right, sweet. Now I can play chords without them sounding terrible. All right, cool. All right. So we got C major, right? We'll do 1, 4, 5, 1. Here we go. 4, 5, back to 1. Right? Now, what I was saying about a deceptive cadence is instead of going to 1, we go to 6. And there's other kinds of deceptive cadences, but this is the most common one. Swapping out your 1 with a 6. So, people heard you play 1, they've heard you play 4, they heard you play that 5. Where are we going to go? You're expecting me to go back to 1, right? No. We're going to 6. 6 is where we're going. This is probably one of the most common devices used especially in pop music right now. A lot of times they'll start out on the 6, and then they'll hit you with the 1 later. And it can add some drama to your chord progression. So, deceptive cadence. Swap out your 1 with a 6. Okay? Let's see, where I have my notes. Here we go. Yeah, I already mentioned that 4 leads to 5 often. 2 leads to 5 as well. We can interchange 1 and 6, and that's a lot of times called a deceptive cadence. Now, there are fancy names for all of these different scale degrees. I'm not going to hit on those today. Right now, we're going to talk a little bit about extensions. So you guys have heard me play some, I think fairly cool chords in my live streams for some of my songs, and most of the times those chords would sound really boring if it weren't for the extensions that I play. All right. So what an extension is going beyond the 5th scale degree. So in the key of C, we're still in the key of C. We haven't gone anywhere. All right. So we have 1, 3, and 5 together. That makes C major. All right. You can go beyond that. So, and the way I'm getting these numbers, right, it's just counting up one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5, right? All right. We can add in a 7. That's 7 right there. Instantly, that chord becomes way more cool. You can do this in any key. Add a 7, and it's a specific kind of 7, because if I add a different 7, like this is still a 7, different kind of chord, still cool, but it serves a very different purpose. But this is a major 7. Notice all of them are spaced pretty evenly, right? Play 1, skip 1, play 1, skip 1, play 1, skip 1, play 1. And you can do this literally forever. It's just the next extension. So we're on 7, there's 8, let's go to 9. All right, so that's got a 9th in it. And sometimes you can drop out the 7 because you don't need it anymore. It's got a 9th in it, all right? Now, you go up to an 11th. The higher you go, the funkier it starts to get. And, sometimes you'll want to move around some of those extensions. Generally, as far as, funky chords or, jazzy chords sound, when it comes to the basics, we're just talking a lot about 7ths and 9ths. 7ths and 9ths. So here's an E major chord, right? I can add a 7th. There we go. That's a major 7th. That already sounds better. We can add a 9th. Gotta stay in my key. Right? That sounds way cooler than something like this. Basic. Add a 7th and a 9th. And you can go back and forth between that and another chord, right? Just adding more extensions. Now, the important thing is that you remember your spacing. And, it's kind of hard to delve into that without talking about like written notation and stuff like that, which I don't really want to get into because I don't want it to be too confusing. But use extensions. If you want jazzy sounding chords, add extensions. It's not that complicated. It's something that you don't need a chord pack to do, even though sometimes chord packs can help teach you something. And a lot of you guys have given me a lot of good feedback on the Suggester app. I did a video on that a while back, and Suggester is super dope for both coming up with good chord progressions as well as learning something about good chord progressions. And it's even doper than I led off to in Suggester. So I'm going to do a follow-up video very soon diving into exactly how dope Suggester is and the different things you can do with it. But if you're watching this video right now and you haven't yet, definitely give this video a like. All right, it's going to help out the channel. It's going to help you out because you're going to get better content in your inbox. All right, so take care of that. All right, back to the regularly scheduled program. Benjamin says tonality is his new favorite. All right, I haven't taken a look at tonality, but I'll have to check it out. Cool. So we covered a lot. What I'd like to do right now is I'm going to go over a couple more things. While I'm doing that, put some questions down in the comment section if you have any questions about what I've talked about up to this point. Because producers, I want you guys to grasp this. You could hear this from a million different people, but if you hear it from me, I want it to be something that is helpful to you and something that you can actually apply to your music production. So if it's not sticking with you, let me know. and I'll go back over something, but we'll do a quick recap while you guys get your questions in the comments. So we talked about what is a key. A key is a group of notes, a framework based on a scale, right, that allows us to come up with good chords, good harmony. Why is it important? Well, for the reasons I just said. If you have that framework, you can come up with good chords no matter what key you're in, right? Number 2 was know your number theory. So we talked about these numbers. Now, hold on, let me go back to what I was on so I can show you. We talked about the numbers. Now, this changes when you get to minor. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but minor is different. Okay, in the case of, we'll say A minor because it is the relative minor of C major, and all the notes are still just the white notes, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about getting into the black keys yet. But in the key of A minor, that's not going to be a capital 1 or a capital Roman numeral 1, capital I. It's going to be lowercase. So we have major there. Let's do this. That's major. This is going to be minor. So we start with a little minor 1. Then you go to, that's diminished. One with a little circle. We didn't really talk about that a lot, but I think I'm going to save that for a later video. Diminished and augmented chords. Ah, we have a C major here. This is going to be a major chord. Bada bing. All right, then you got a minor. 4 is going to be minor in this key. All right, or in a minor key. Any minor key is going to be minor 4, unless you change it. 5, sorry, let me go back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is technically going to be minor 5, but usually you'll see a major 5 going to a minor. Jafet Benavides, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, my friend. It's probably Jafet Benavides. Let me know if I'm getting that right. Sorry if I'm not. What would you say is a good starting point when attempting to practice chord progressions? I would say, well, we kind of talked about this. A good start is going to be your 2, 5, 1 or your 4, 5, 1. You can throw in a 6 in there, just about anywhere, and it'll sound pretty good. So in the case of the key of C major, sorry to deviate from our minor that we were talking about here, but 1, 4, 5, 1. All right. Benjamin Demers said 1625. Yeah, scroll back in the live chat. Benjamin left us a lot of good suggestions for different progressions, so check that out for sure. Another thing is if you check out Suggester, they have some chord progressions in there that are your basic chord progressions. It kind of tells you, gives you some basics to start with. Okay, so Samusoni Osborne says, I grew up in a country filled with musicians that never really learned music the traditional way, but they knew the number system well. Always wondered what those numbers meant. Lol, yes. Yeah, that's awesome. The number system, to me, is probably the most valuable thing that I learned in music theory, because once you know the numbers, you can apply it to anything. You're not bound to a key. You don't always have to remember that, in C major, the 4 is going to be an F major. If you know where 4 is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a major chord to go with that, you're set. You can do that in any key. So yeah, it's used widely because it's so effective. I saw my wife left a comment a second ago. If you could make a lo-fi beat with 2 chords, what would they be? Like a 5/7 and 6/7, etc. Yeah, it would probably be some sort of chord with an extension. A lot of times I'll start in F major. You'll hear this one a lot. So I'm technically in the key of C, but I'm starting on 4, and it has a 7. You'll hear people go between those two chords a lot. So 4, 4, 7, and 1, 7. So I think that can get confusing when you throw those 7s in there, but let me, so I know I've got a lot of going on. All right, so in a lo-fi song, a lot of times you'll hear 4 with a 7th, and then you'll hear 1 with a 7th. That's just an example. Yeah, you can use minor chords with 7 or 9. I've done that as well. So that's F, sorry. So this would be an F minor 7. And you can go to something like a D. I mean, you really can go anywhere you want. We can do a C. You can really do anything when it comes to you can really do anything when it comes to lo-fi. It has less to do with the functions of traditional harmony and more to do with really vibey chords. A lot of the songs you've heard me play, you'll hear that I don't really follow, the key a lot. I'll just kind of go between 2 to 3 chords usually. And I'll just make sure there's lots of extensions in there, mostly 7s and 9s. 9s are really nice. All right, cool. Hafet, you're very welcome for the stream. All right, so I think we covered just about all I was going to cover tonight. I didn't get to finish writing out. I didn't get to finish writing this out. So we got 6, 7, and then it goes back to 1. A lot of times you're going to hear a major 5 even in a minor key, not a minor 5. So we were in A minor, back to 5, back to 1. So technically in the key, this note right here is not really in the key of A, but JJ Bing, welcome, my friend. Hey, you didn't miss anything. Rewind it. That's what we got the replay for. But you can stick with us for now and rewind it after if you'd like. But we covered a lot. My attempt was to be as least confusing as possible. When we talk about music theory, especially those who have studied it for any amount of time, can get pretty confusing just because it's really easy to ramble and use a lot of unnecessary words. So I'm trying to not be overly wordy. Hopefully I did that. Cool. So what is coming next is it's gonna be very interesting. So I've decided to dig into my archives. And when I say archives, I mean video archives. And when I say video archives, I do not mean my YouTube video archives, even though that would be interesting. What we're going to dive into tonight, in just a second, is some footage of my senior recital from college. All right, so you guys get to see me play my, let's see if we can get it. My original instrument. It's so hard to line this up. Anyway, right back there. That's my viola. My original instrument, my main instrument. And I'm gonna be doing some reacting to my own footage, and it's gonna be really interesting to hear because there's some good stories involved in this whole thing. But you can kind of get a chance to see what my years of practice did as far as music goes. And I started with a free concert. Woo, yes, free concert. I didn't start with any lessons. I happened to start in 6th grade, but I just got involved in programs. And this is for any of my audience that's really young and you feel intimidated by the idea of learning an instrument, or really anyone, because you can start at any age. But if you feel like you don't have the resources to get into learning an instrument, I didn't have the resources, and I got into learning an instrument, and I took it all the way through college. So, that's some of the messaging I want to spread, but I also just want to hilariously laugh at some of my performance footage. So hang in there with me. Don't go anywhere. I'm talking 30 seconds, and we'll be right back. All right. Okay, I got everything set. Like I said, 30 seconds, and here we are. All right, so for those of you just tuning in, what's about to happen is I'm going to be reacting to some of my old footage from my senior recital. Now, for those of you who don't know what a senior recital is, when you're studying music in college, there comes a time in your senior year before you can graduate and get your degree. In my case, it was a bachelor's in music. You've got to show proficiency on your instrument. And mind you, I'm a music education major. They don't let you slide because you're going to be a teacher. You got to be a good musician. And so I slaved over my senior recital for several months trying to get, my pieces in order. I don't have a copy of the program on me, but I'm gonna show you the footage. I shared a joint recital with me and my best friend from college, Joe Wheelock. If you're watching this, Joe, shout out, my friend. Miss you, I'm gonna hit you up sometime. But all right, let's get to this footage. Hopefully this is gonna work right. I've never shared my screen before. Here we go. Can I pick an application? All right. Okay. Can you guys all see that? Is it coming through right? Is my picture right there in the middle? Hopefully it's not. It probably is. All right, let me know in the chat, you guys. Is my picture showing right in the middle? Yeah, I'm in the dead center of the screen. Okay. Well, all right, let me see if I do this full screen. This is my first time sharing my screen from my computer. And it's still there, huh? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, yeah, I can turn it off. There we go. Figured it out. Figured it out. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is me coming on playing my opening piece. Yeah, let's just listen. Hopefully it's not too loud. Let me know if it's too loud. Okay, wait, real quick before we keep going, let me make sure. I probably am going to want to have my screen on here so that you guys can see. Here we go. There we go. All right, here we go. We'll do it round like I usually do. Okay, there we go. Now you guys can see my reaction to this. That probably makes more sense. All right. Cool. All right, sorry for all the flashing. Here we go. Let's skip the tuning. Oh, we've got skipping. We've got skipping. Alright, cool. I think the skipping is going to stop. Here we go. And we're back to the tune. Okay. I've never done this before, so thanks for bearing with me. Alright. A classic cough. Okay. You have to know how many times I practiced that run. Yeah, that was rough. Alright, let's keep listening. I promise you, the whole thing is not this bad. When I'm having those pitch issues, all right. So now I'm being hard on myself. But quick story time. All right. When I was in, hold on, here we go. All right, quick story time. When I was getting ready for this, the whole time I'm dealing with the worst crippling hand pain in the world. I'm telling you. To this day, it still haunts me. This hand dying. All right, like I'm cramping up so bad, but I'm practicing like several hours a day, several hours a day. And by the time I get to my recital, I had been to the doctor and there wasn't anything they could really do. It was probably honestly carpal tunnel or something like that. And there's like, well, short of surgery, well, you can't do anything. So they gave me a prescription for codeine. Not lying. On my senior recital, like I had just had some codeine. Obviously, I stuck within the limits that they gave me because I'm not weird like that. But I'm telling you, like, and I was still in pain during this recital. That's how serious the pain was. So know that as you're listening. All right. Okay, here we go. See, I think at this point I had settled into a pocket. I think it's starting to get better. We're not going to listen to all the pieces all the way through, so don't worry. I'm just going to show clips after this, but we'll finish the first song. It's not that long. There we go. Okay. Okay, for those of you that don't know me really well, the amount I'm sweating is already profusely, and yeah, I sweat bad. I sweat bad, but this is my first piece, so you can imagine. I'll show you, by the time we hit my second piece, I'm dying. But that was not absolutely classical. shout out to Richard Riccardi, man. The guy is a piano genius, and he's a legend. I don't think I would have made it through my senior recital without this guy. Like he played all of my pieces, and yeah, he did an awesome job and killed it. So shout out to Richard Riccardi. I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, you're a legend. All right. I May 69. Yeah, my wife says, dang, makes me want to try to play my senior recital pieces again. Yeah, me too. Watching stuff like this makes me miss playing my main instrument regularly. To be honest, unfortunately, with everything I do for Music Technologist and taking care of my family, like it's rare to get an occasion to just play viola. And, you know, when I'm not doing those things, I'm usually trying to make some music so that I can have practice to have something to show you guys. So not being able to play viola a lot is a bummer. But all right, let me get back to it. We'll go to a different piece. Yeah. Okay. Let me get back to it. So I won't keep this one going. I think yeah, it's my buddy Joe playing his senior recital. My wife played a piece with me, but I'm completely cut off, so that I don't know if we would have a ton of fun reacting to that. It's a great piece. But all right, one down. Let's hit one more at least. Hold on, which one is this? Oh yeah, all right. So before I hit this video, all right, real quick. I had to play 25 minutes, probably more than 25 minutes of straight unaccompanied viola. So I'm talking like it's just me on the stage, no piano behind me. So every mistake I make is going to be heard. And it was the most like brutal experience just trying to like make it all the way through. And mind you, at this point in the program, this is either my last or my second to last piece, and my hands are dying. Like, I was done before I got on stage at this point, and I'm just kind of like wincing and sweating through it, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll give you some clips. This is what this piece is. It's it's Bach's B-A-C-H, Johann Sebastian Bach, his cello suites, one of his cello suites. This is suite number 2. It's originally for cello, but it's been transcribed for viola, and that's what I'm playing is the entire second suite, which we're not going to listen to the entire suite. It would take roughly 25 minutes, but I'm going to catch some of it, so here we go. Okay, hold up, really quick. I don't know if you heard that, but in the background, my homie Malik, if you're watching this, dude, we need to connect sometime. But Malik, he and I, we would always say, that's my cousin, even though we're not cousins, we're not related at all. But he's my bro, for real. But yeah, so if you listen in the background, you can hear him just say, that's my cousin. Hold on, right here. Here we go. Oh, man. All right, let's get to this reaction. Not bad. Sorry for the skipping. Hang on, let me fix that. Maybe. Okay. For those of you watching, this is not my normal content. I appreciate you for tuning in and experiencing this with me. A little trip down memory lane. Maybe you'll learn something, maybe you won't. But either way, I'm enjoying this. And don't worry. If this isn't your cup of tea, it's cool. Check out some of my other videos. We'll be back at hitting more tips and tutorials for sure. momentarily coming up in the next video. So definitely come back around if this isn't your cup of tea. But this is you know, part of my story. So here it is. You're getting to be a fly on the wall. Okay, so that's a good chunk from the first of the 6. Let's jump down and see. Let's check out the next one. All right, here we go. Kind of fast forward through this a little bit. That was the end of the second. By the way, technically, when someone finishes the second part of their, you know, a full set, you're kind of supposed to not clap to the end. But, you know, I broke that rule plenty of times in my time. But for those of you that are going to go check out, you know, some classical music at some point when we can go back to theaters, wait till they finish the piece, clap the end. But at this point, I'm kind of glad they clapped because I'm dying. My hand, watch. You'll see this, watch. I'm dying, and a distraction was very helpful. I don't know if you saw that, but I'm like, watch my hand. Yeah, dying. Mind you, at this point I'm only halfway, with a voice crack. I'm only halfway through the recital. I'm sure the coding's worn off by now. Okay. I can't remember if this is supposed to be presto or allegro, but I am hecka rushing here. Really fast, like really, really fast. A little too fast. I had to try to keep up with myself. Oof, that was not bad. Part is so hard. Okay, all right, he made it through. He made it through. All right, we're about to hit number 4. Yep, my hand is dying. This piece is so dramatic, so intense. I like it. Okay, if you're just tuning in and you have no idea what's going on, don't worry. All right, this is my senior recital. I'm reacting and we're looking at some of what the music theory I talked about before led to. Mind you, this is after 4 years after taking Intro to Music Theory. Okay, so you know, music theory can help you do a lot of things. All right, but let's get back to it. All right, here we go. Was that the end? That was it. There's two more. There's two more. I'll try to skip through them. Okay, hold on, real quick. Those chords on a viola, I don't know if you guys know that. Hold on, just hang on one sec, real quick. I don't know if you guys know this, but on a viola, it's not, your instrument is not flat. So in order to play these chords, you can't just like bow on it. You have to like roll. Those are called double stops, and it's hard stuff to do. So like, that was probably, I don't know, some of the more challenging stuff to get in tune. And mind you, there's no frets on a viola. Like on a guitar, at least you can like rely on the frets to get you in tune. On a viola, you gotta like place your fingers just right, or else it's gonna be out of tune. So yeah, that was the most grueling part of this whole thing, was trying to get those double stops in, those rolled chords. A little out of tune. Alright, we'll skip through this one a little bit. Ah, we had another one start. Alright, this is the final one. The final one. Hopefully that ended well. At this point, I am just dripping sweat. just dripping. Yeah, it was quite an ordeal. Alright, you can do it. It's your final one. You got this. That was not it. But that's okay. The important part is that you keep going and recover well. Wow, that's not bad. bad notes, what you do? Yeah, it's crazy watching something like that again. That's some of the most intense, grueling work I did in my life to be able to play that. If I tried to play all of those pieces right now, I would inevitably fall on my face. I would, I need some, definitely need to get back into it before I could play something like that again. But, that is the level I hope to get to again, but also as a music producer. So this ties into a lot of what, thanks, Boog 718 Beats said, great work, appreciate it. That is what consistent work can do. Was it perfect? No. But consistently working, for example, in your DAW, or just making music every single day, as often as you can, you're going to come out with something that sounds great. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. And some of that, I feel like some of the performance sounded great. Some of it was pitchy. Was it perfect? Was my hand dying all along the way? Was it really hard to play? Yeah, but I did it. And you know, my private lesson instructor was surprised. I don't think he expected that I could do it, but I proved, you know, that I could to him and to myself. And that's a good lesson for, you know, for me, for you, for all of us music producers out there, music makers. With hard work and consistency, you can pull off something that you didn't think you could. And that's what I feel like I did, even though it wasn't perfect. Really quick, let me switch this camera back to camera. All right. So, there was something about that I was going to say. I don't remember. But hey, those of you that have been rocking with me, you've been rocking with me this far, you might as well subscribe. You might as well. If you are committed enough to sit through watching me play my instrument and not my typical YouTube iPad beat making stuff, then you know, you might as well subscribe, because it seems like you're probably enjoying it. Hopefully you are. If you are enjoying it, you should definitely hit that like button too. But hey, you guys are gonna get more live beat making from me, more definitely more tutorials, more tip videos, more things talking about music theory as well in the works. So stay tuned, okay? Really quick, before we get out of here, all right, hear me on this. Next week, we're going to be recording live vocals on the iPad, okay? We're going to be recording live. I'm going to be recording my vocals live next Tuesday. And it's going to be on time this time, 7 p.m., not 7:30, not 7:45, 7 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time if you're in the, PST if you're in the U.S. You know, you have to do all your conversions and stuff. I don't know all that off the top. But yeah, we're going to be right here recording some live vocals. I'm going to be recording live in Beatmaker 3 as well, not into Cubasis. I've done Cubasis before, but I'm going to tell you why I've decided to stick with Beatmaker 3 for recording my vocals. Also going to touch on what some of the shortcomings of recording vocals live, or recording vocals into an iPad, what some of those shortcomings are, and also some of the workarounds to help with that. So you don't want to miss next week. Make sure you're tuning in. And yeah, until next time, creatives, go make something dope, and I'll see you in the next video.